So I never thought I would do this, but here I am. I'm making a video criticizing someone's content. Again, I never planned on doing this. It just kind of happened because only am I seeing it show up on my YouTube Shorts, and I'm tired of just seeing it in general and this slob just kind of existing. The content, not the person. I don't know who he is personally. But also getting into politics, which I don't like politics, and I won't even necessarily get into it. It's just this is a very politically driven content creator, so there's really no way of avoiding it. This is the guy. He makes YouTube Shorts videos on topics that are kind of relevant to today, but he is very, very much clearly biased towards his own side, which I'm not going to complain about because I mean it's most politically driven content creators are going to be biased towards their side of the political spectrum. So I can't even fault him for that. I mean, if right wing creators are gonna be more biased towards right wing issues, and left wing creators are going to be more biased towards left wing issues. My only issue with this guy is he is so far into his beliefs and his political affiliation. It's like he's stuck there. He can't go without criticizing the other side. Even when two parties agree on something, even when something is objectively true, it's like, no, the other side is wrong here. And it's people like that are the issue. If you have your political beliefs, that's totally fine. I mean, even if they differ from mine, I don't care. But don't be so deluded in your beliefs that you can't even criticize your own side or give the opposite side the benefit of the doubt on anything. I'm gonna look at a few videos, a few topics of discussion. I won't look at everything because it's a lot to go through. But there's two topics of discussion I want to, or technically three I want to get into specifically, and that is his videos on the Texas-Mexico border fiasco. One specific AI video he made that is just comically bad, and Christianity. I was going to discuss his view on like biopics, but that's for a completely separate video that I really excited to work on.
The state of Texas and the U.S. federal government are having a standoff right now. Border security is ultimately overseen by federal authorities, but it turns out Texas set up about 60 miles of razor wire along the border and river blockades around the Rio Grande without permission. Multiple people, including children, ended up drowning due to these security measures, which was 100% predictable. And to be quite frank, I'm not going to entertain any argument concluding that anyone deserves to drown to death, because one day Texas decided that they're allowed to fascistically ignore courts and federal government who have been telling them that they are out of bounds. Acting like the US can't handle this level of immigration and that immigrants are going to drain our economy via social programs is to eat up that blatantly false MAGA chud propaganda straight from the feeding trough. So this conflict escalated when the Texas National Guard seized Shelby Park and was not allowing federal authorities to respect human rights and cut the razor wire. The Supreme Court had to step in and tell Texas to stand down, but Abbott released a statement saying that he will continue to challenge federal authority, or in other words, signed an open letter of treason. We aren't even in February yet.
When it comes to his view, and even if you look at the comments under his videos, they're from a lot of Texans saying, hey, maybe know what's going on here first before you talk on it. So that he has other Texans calling him out on the issue, saying, hey, you don't know what's going on down here. Yeah, that was certainly a take. The idea that Texas isn't allowed to secure its border is beyond insane. I mean, every country secures its borders. Every country has immigration laws that you have to, follow if you want to be in there. Putting razor wire on the border isn't a crazy thing. Yeah, is it dangerous? Of course it is. That's why you don't illegally cross into it. It's not freaking invisible. It's razor wire. It is sharp. It is shiny metal. You can see it. You can clearly see it. Going through it is blatant idiocy. And then you blame Texas for people drowning in rivers, which has nothing to do with the razor wire. Boy, that's certainly something. And you can really tell where he's, people aren't on his side because half of his comments are saying, hey, this is a pretty piss poor take. You're wrong. Even this one comment about saying that this guy's an immigrant. Even this one comment where the commenter says he's an immigrant and he's on Texas's side. Like, buddy, relax. Texas isn't fascistically doing anything. They have every right to secure the border because the federal government wouldn't. The federal government wouldn't do anything. So Texas is like, well, we got to take matters into our own hands and do what the federal government wanted. And now you're crying about it. Oh yeah, is that why all these cities and states are declaring states of emergency because of all the immigrants coming in? Is that? Yeah, that's what I thought.
But Abbott released a statement saying that he will continue to challenge federal authority, or in other words, signed an open letter of treason.
Yeah, I hate to burst your bubbles, buddy, but securing a border isn't, it's not treason. It's doing what you're supposed to do as a leader of your state, because, the federal government wouldn't. It's like I said, the comments tell all. Everyone's just kind of roasting the guy for just the poor take he has. Because, I mean, it's how do you have a take like that? How you used to go, the state Texas is trying to secure the borders, and that's not okay because people are dying. How are the people dying? Oh, they're crossing the border and then they're drowning in the water. The idea that Texas can't secure the border or isn't allowed to is bizarre. But then he doubled down. He didn't look at the comments and go, that's a good point. He didn't look into it. No, he doubled down on it. Even bringing up the Supreme Court and the federal court and whatnot, claiming that Texas has to take down razor wire and saying that the federal government could take down razor wire, which is utter nonsense. Texas was never forced to take down razor wire. They were just told they couldn't prevent the federal government from taking down razor wire.
What are you going to do with that bread? If you are rooting for Texas right now, you live in a fantasy world. In case you missed my last video on the subject, Texas took securing the southern border into their own hands, and they're doing so in a way that violates human rights, invites a military conflict with the federal government, and pushes idiotic civil war rhetoric. Setting death traps on the border isn't protecting the country. This is immigration, not another country invading us. You are an insane person if you think otherwise. Of course I think the US is mishandling immigration on the southern border, probably for different reasons than y'all, but I guarantee you that setting up illegal barriers that murder people is not going to fix the economy, and it's not going to improve your lives in any way. You want to know something that will ruin your life? Starting a civil war. That is a lose your life speed run by being used as a pawn in a right-wing power grab. If another civil war breaks out, it's going to suck for you and for all civilians involved. I get that y'all have radicalized psychopaths who have been waiting their entire lives for something like this to happen, but this is not going to be like Call of Duty. It's going to be the Navy SEALs versus the Gravy SEALs. Get real, dude.
The Supreme Court only granted the federal government to take down the razor wire. They never said Texas couldn't put it back up. That's kind of the whole deal there. Yeah, they're not violating human rights at all. At all. They're saying they're putting up precautions to prevent illegal immigration.
This is immigration, not another country invading us. You are an insane person if you think otherwise.
Yeah, this isn't immigration, nor is it invasion. Rather, it's technically trespassing. Because with immigration, there is a process. And trespassing is going onto someone's land or property without permission, which this is. Oh, look at that. Even who is Mexican is saying that Texas is in the right. And once again, his very poor, tone-deaf take is getting negative reception, as shown by these comments here. This really just proves what I was saying, that he is so far into his political beliefs that he can't admit when maybe the governor of Texas is in the right here trying to secure the border. Claiming that there's not a border crisis or an issue here is basically pulling the wool over your own eyes. You're only acting like this, and you're only ignoring this all because it goes against what these people you vote for have been saying. Acting like Texas is in the wrong, or acting like illegal immigration isn't a problem because politician I like says it's okay is so ridiculous. It's not like illegal immigration isn't it's not like it's a new topic. It's not just some new talking point of the right wing as you like to act like it is. It's been a topic of discussion forever because it is a serious problem. I mean, shoot, even Obama spoke out against illegal immigration.
I believe as strongly as ever that we should take on illegal immigration. That's why my administration has put more boots on the border than ever before. I strongly believe that we should take on once and for all the issue of illegal immigration. And I am prepared to work with Republicans and Democrats to protect our borders, enforce our laws, and address the millions of undocumented workers who are now living in the shadows.
Which brings me to a point that I've always had, or something I've always thought about, which is because Trump said it, it's bad. I would call it the Trump effect, which is like taking something that other people have said and it not being a problem, but then Trump says it, and now all of a sudden it's a problem because Trump said it. No one thought illegal immigration was okay. No one thought, border security was a bad thing until Trump said it. And again, I'm not even taking a side here. I'm not claiming left wing or right wing or anything. I'm observing from the sideline here. The thing I notice is when it comes to speaking about illegal immigration and border security, he doesn't ever mention any of the new recent stories about illegal immigrants killing these high school girls. Yes, high school teenage girls that are children are being murdered. He doesn't say anything about that. It's not even that he doesn't talk about people dying or death or anything for political purposes or anything, because he does. He has discussed it, but it's clear he doesn't know what's going on there. He just listens to what his trusted politicians say, regurgitating those points because right-winger bad and Republican bad, conservative bad, rather than actually looking into it and thinking, oh, you know what, maybe they got a point. It's a big thing that I hate about politics is all we gotta do is just have a discussion and just try to see what other people are thinking. If you can get in the mind of your opposition and try to understand what their views are, the closer we can get to maybe we can agree on something. But this is an example of that can't happen because people aren't willing to listen. It's oh, well, you're wrong and I'm right, and that's how it's going to be. Next video I want to talk about is his video on AI. More specifically, this AI program from Google that is under a lot of scrutiny because it takes historical figures and race swaps them for who knows why. And a lot of people are just saying that it's erasing history or it's for woke purposes, and whether that's right or wrong, I don't freaking know. I don't work for Google, but there's a clear problem there.
I hope he makes a lantern. AI has gone full woke? Google's new AI model Gemini seems to prioritize diversity, resulting in historically inaccurate images. Also, it apparently has a really hard time generating images of white people, so of course Twitter had a field day of pushing great replacement theory rhetoric and having tantrums about images of racially diverse people. The takeaway here is that Google released an amazingly unfinished product that blew up in controversy and makes them look really bad, and that the product is like this to make money and not to destroy white people and freedom of speech or whatever. Companies have a financial interest in prioritizing diversity, or in other words, going woke, because they make more money selling products to everyone. I'm not saying that corporate flavor diversity is good. On the contrary, I'm saying that we should understand this as a function of capitalism that more often than not doesn't actually result in the support of the groups and communities that these companies are selling to. I personally love watching Google and AI art get dogpiled on, but I only wish that the folks dogpiling on them weren't racist weirdos.
The thing is, his take is not terrible here for the most part. I'm agreeing, we can agree on this leading up to the very, very end, where it just goes to crap, all because he turns it around and makes it about capitalism for some reason, and then turns around and says that the people who are against this are racist weirdos. I don't know if I've ever seen someone kind of play both sides here, where it's like, well, this program is bad, but the people that are complaining are also bad. They're also in the wrong. They're both wrong. When there's not really a debate on what's wrong here, it's kind of the side of the AI that is wrong, and the people complaining. I mean, his examples, yeah, you could say they're extreme, but I wouldn't say that's most of the examples. That's maybe he probably found like a person or two that is pushing this replacement theory stuff.
And having tantrums about images of racially diverse people.
Like claiming that it's people complaining about Google making racially diverse people is just tone deaf. Because the issue isn't that Google and this AI is making racially diverse people, is that it's making historically white people, Black or Hispanic or Native American or whatever, when that's just simply not true. And the thing is, he's almost there. He's almost on the point where he dismisses what he thinks is the point of it just to make the other side look bad, per the usual. Yet continues to just ignore the main point of people not liking this, people complaining about this. I can't take anyone seriously that takes an issue and is like, oh, well, this is because capitalism. It is such an overblown statement. It's turning into the kind of the woke thing where like everything I don't like is woke, or everything I don't like is racist, or now it's everything I don't like is capitalism. And you're blaming everything on just non-issues. And then coming out and just like, oh, everyone that disagrees with this is just racist, and that's why I can't side with them. How? What?
What? What the?
It's literally explained why this is bad. The system itself is being racist, but somehow the people that are against it are racist. I can't, dude. It's not something I noticed back on the capitalism thing. This dude will find any way to blame anything on capitalism. Just turn anything into a capitalistic issue, even when it's just not there. like this, for example. For reasons like that, it's hard to take what he says seriously. The last thing I want to talk about is Christianity. Now, as a Christian man myself, I don't really take Christianity lightly. You know, it is a very serious thing for me. It's the very thing I live for. It's what I'm all about. And so he made a video like this.
Take me camping. A rapper by the name of Lil Nas X just dropped a new music video for a song called J Christ, and religious conservatives are also dropping their tears because they are extremely offended by this video. The video is amazing, exactly what you would expect from Lil Nas X, but there's a lot of biblical imagery. He even gets crucified at one point. And hyper-religious Christians who notoriously can't take a single joke about their religion have taken to Twitter and are sharing this music video in outrage, giving it free exposure, and that's part of the marketing genius of Lil Nas X. These people are saying stuff like, imagine if he mocked any other religion, as if American culture hasn't been making fun of other religions forever. The only reason why this is receiving hate is because of religious-based homophobia. I honestly thought, as far as biblical parodies go, it wasn't that crazy, and he didn't really mock Jesus. There are many ways to be Christian and to portray Jesus. Why is the way you portray him so special? Anyways, the more you hate on the video, the more attention it gets, so you'll actually do yourself a favor by sparing us from your complaints. But we all know that's impossible. I want to eat that.
Once again, another piss poor take. This guy's entire attitude is, oh, I made this fun of something that you live for. I made fun of something that affects your daily life, this thing that you're very serious about. Dude, just take a joke, dude. This guy made fun of it. Big deal. This guy mocked you. Oh, it's not a big deal. Take a joke. Like, I'm all for good humor. You know, I can take a joke, for sure. But jokes are usually in good taste. This isn't a joke. This is flat-out mockery. Jokes are funny. I've heard jokes at a Christian's expense. I think a lot of them are funny. This isn't that. This is blatant mockery. There's a very big difference.
The only reason why this is receiving hate is because of religious-based homophobia.
Somehow turning it around and making it about homophobia or some BS is absurd. Oh, this thing that I'm making fun of that's very serious to you and a big part of your life. You're only mad that I'm making fun of it because you're homophobic.
Because you hate gay men.
That's certainly a take. Not a good one, but it's a take nonetheless. And once again, there are comments that completely disagree and are dunking on this guy because of his garbage take. Even this guy who's Muslim is saying, yeah, you're acting like they're crazy, but if you mock a Muslim, believe me, we're gonna get pissed too. Also, Christianity is the most persecuted religion in the world, so yeah. Another interesting point that I thought about, and there's actually, while scrolling through the comments, I found a comment about it while I was thinking about it, is this guy doesn't care when Lil Nas X makes fun of Christians and mocks them, but Dave Chappelle makes trans jokes, and it's the end of the world to this guy. This guy is done. It's over. Dave Chappelle's the worst. Cancel him. Get rid of him. Dave Chappelle is transphobic. It's time to get rid of the guy.
I see tenders. Dave Chappelle has a new stand-up special, and people are already saying, Dave Chappelle is going to get canceled for this joke. Here's the joke that's apparently going to get him canceled. It's a story about how he met Jim Carrey for the first time while Jim was method acting, and Dave felt disappointed because Jim Carrey was pretending to be someone else. And the joke is that he feels the same way when he meets a trans person. And look, you can make jokes about trans people. These jokes can even make people feel uncomfortable. That's all a part of comedy, you know? But all you gotta do to not be a transphobic doofus is to have that joke actually be funny, which jokes that come from bigoted perspectives aren't typically that funny, to say the very least. This joke is quite frankly missing the kind of wit that I would expect from him years ago, and of course everyone at the show is laughing. That's because the only people who go to a Dave Chappelle show nowadays either don't care about transphobia or are transphobic and prioritize controversy over being clever in the comedy they consume. And that's the reason why Dave or someone like Matt Rife isn't really getting canceled. They still have a platform, they're just getting a new audience.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
You see how that doesn't really mix well? When you say, oh, it's cool to make fun of these people, but not these people. You're a hypocrite, guy. You're a hypocrite. And another video he made on Christianity, I'm not going to get too much into. Because it's just him talking about the He Gets Us Super Bowl ad. That show, of course, during the Super Bowl, where a lot of Christians weren't too happy about it because it's not biblically sound and it's doesn't really send the right message. And then he cries, oh, Christians are hateful and you're only mad because you hate gay people, which is certainly a take. Again, not a good one, but it's a take. And he sure as heck runs with it. And boy, it's something.
Are you gonna make a pastry? People are upset at a Super Bowl commercial. I'm not talking about the ads funded by the state of Israel airing while Rafah was being heavily bombarded. That's genuinely enraging and disgusting. I'm actually referring to the weird and unhinged foot washing commercial. The commercial was a collection of seemingly AI-generated photos of people of different groups in conflicting scenarios washing each other's bare feet because Jesus did that, love thy neighbor, etc. There were a lot of exposed feet in this commercial, so naturally people made jokes. But hateful, hyper-religious Christians who have probably never read the Bible before and think that Jesus would want them to be horrible, toxic people had to ruin the fun by loudly whining about this commercial online. Their line of logic is essentially Jesus only washed his disciples' feet, therefore he would be totally cool with his followers sending death threats to queer people on Twitter. Between this, Bud Light, Taylor Swift, and Pfizer-pilled Travis Kelce, it seems like conservatives are abandoning the NFL for being too woke, which is an undeniably strange turn of events, but it's also undeniably hilarious.
There's several videos out there criticizing the ad and why it sucks and why it's bad. But now listen to the guy who's not a Christian, doesn't read the Bible, isn't very knowledgeable in the Christian faith, and says it's okay to mock Christianity. Sure, listen to that guy. To conclude, if you find political content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, take it with a grain of salt. Really look into those who you watch and you follow. Also, don't be too, if you're going to be into politics, don't be so blind to one side, or don't be so far to one side that you're blind to the problems it has, and so blind to the point that you can't admit that one side is right. Also, just don't follow any or listen to anything this guy says.